What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to part 2 of the ABS Delete. Today we're going to be installing the new non-ABS Type R brake booster and master cylinder, the 4040 prop valve, as well as all the lines that go where they're supposed to go. So first things first is we're going to try to mock up that brake booster master cylinder, and you're going to need the gasket that goes right there for the brake booster. So make sure you get that from Honda or Acura, and you can go ahead and push that in. Also, there's 4 bolts, as you can see right there inside the car, that you got to take out. You cannot take this brake booster out unless you have a 3/8 swivel socket, the socket that can, you know what I'm talking about, the thing that goes like that and that. Yeah, you're gonna need that in order to take out that bolt right there. All of these other bolts come out. I believe it's a 12 millimeter, but this bolt right here, or this nut actually, you're going to need to use the swivel joint because there's no way you're gonna get it. I'm not even gonna attempt to do a DIY on how to take that out because people say it's easy, but it's not so easy. So have fun with that. To wire up the cap, you just have to take off these 2 prongs on the old one and just snap them back on for that. And then there's a hose that goes to the brake booster right here that you gotta put on. And that's it. You're pretty much done for step 1. So step 2 would be putting on the 4040 prop valve and just mocking all the lines up so that way these 2 rear brake lines sit on the 4040 prop valve, and then you can pretty much just go from there and then route the lines however you want. And that's the beauty about having stainless steel lines. You can do whatever you want to them. You don't have to sit there and bend lines and stuff. It's so flexible, so that's why I decided to get those lines right there. All right, like I said, this is in, and now the prop valve and all the lines are hooked up here, but they're not tight. The only lines I tightened were the rear brake lines, because I still have to figure out which ones go to which. But these are your rear brake lines, and these go right here. So they line perfectly up. You don't have to worry about that. I'm using a DA 4040 prop valve. That's why it doesn't line up. Here's the hole, and then here's where it's supposed to go. But it's not going to go anywhere. You know, I can sit there and move it and try to move it. It's not going to move. It's really, really tight right here. So I don't have to worry about, this whole thing moving. Here are the Valex Racing lines. If you guys don't know already, they supply a kit that basically allows you to run stainless steel lines to your master cylinder and through your shock towers, so you don't have to worry about a thing. So if I remember correctly, the 2 back lines go to either right here or right here, and then the 2 front lines go to your master cylinder. So I'm going to put up a diagram right here, and it's going to say like left, or it's going to say like top firewall, bottom firewall, left, right, which depending on which one it goes to, and then it's going to say which one of these goes to which part of the master cylinder. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on screen right here, or I probably already put it on screen, and then I'm going to just wire everything up, and then that way you guys can kind of see what it's going to look like. Alright, and just like that, the ABS kit is officially done. Now, if you saw my Instagram post yesterday, that was when I just mocked up the lines just to see what it would look like. Now I actually routed everything around and tucked it kind of how it's supposed to go. I went on their Instagram page and kind of saw how they did it, and they kind of routed the lines back there and like put brackets back there, but I'm not doing any of that. I just routed them and pushed them back so it looks a little neater. And this is as neat as the lines really get. I mean, it's either this or you pay $500 for a Hush Performance kit. So honestly, it's up to you what you want to spend. Me personally, I didn't want to spend any money on the ABS Delete kit, but it is kind of mandatory if you want the lines or the prop valve or the master, depending on what kind of car you have. I think it's always just good to get a master just to be on the safe side, because that will really hinder your performance for braking. So it's always good to just get a 9 ABS master cylinder and brake booster. But here are the lines. Get a closer look on it. So this line right here, I routed it all the way back behind all those lines, and then routed it through that hole, this line down here, I kind of routed it behind here and through there. And then this line right here, I just wrapped around the fuel line, so that way it's just not standing out of nowhere. Wrapped it under, and then goes right there. And then since I have a right-hand drive master cylinder, I had to actually get a banjo bolt, and because it wouldn't clear my shock tower if I did it their way with the 90-degree fitting. So I had to get a banjo bolt. So make sure that you get that banjo bolt. It's a 10 millimeter, I believe, or 12 millimeter. I'm pretty sure it's 10 millimeter because everything else on here is 10 millimeter. But make sure you get that just in case you get this because it won't work. Trust me. But that just routes all the way down. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is what it looks like. In my opinion, I think it looks clean this way. The way I had it before was kind of messy and really disgusting, and everybody pretty much flamed me for it. So I was like, you know what? Let me actually try to tuck everything and make it look a little cleaner. And so I did. And this is what I was going to do anyway, but it's whatever. It's done now. Now I'm just going to go ahead and tighten everything down, and that's pretty much it. So this was a complete tutorial on how to delete your ABS. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. I'll try to answer them, or somebody else will try to answer them if they've deleted their ABS too. But yeah, definitely buy this kit if you don't want to have to worry about bending and reflaring lines, because that is kind of tedious in my opinion.